This is the start of a 10-week journey that we're going to be on together. 10 weeks.
Live from the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge in Kingman, it's the Coach's Corner program, the high school football show with news, interviews, scores, and more. Good morning, everybody. Tom Erickson here alongside producer T.G. LaFredo with a recap of regional scores and a review of Kingman High School football from last night. Kingman High School football on 90.7 KJZK and the Coach's Corner program is made possible by the generous financial support of these businesses: Ramada of Kingman and the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge. The Right Sea by Dr. C, Colorado River Ford Lincoln of Kingman and Bullhead City. Frontier Communications, Kingman Regional Medical Center, Brent and Tammy Rutherford at Rutherford 66 Family Diner. By Taco Bell, the new T-Mobile Simply Prepaid Store. By Datamax Wireless, Nucor Steel Kingman, Pizza Hut, Desert Mountain Security Kingman. By Uptown Drug and Home Medical Supply, American Woodmark Corporation, John Graves Propane, and Coast Inn Gas and Convenience Store. And good morning once again. Welcome to the Coaches Program, live from the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge at the Ramada in Kingman. Tom Erickson, along with T.G. LaFredo here, and I think about half of the football team. A lot of blue and gold present this morning for our Saturday morning breakfast after the game. Welcome to all of you. First, a recap of the scores from last night in the section. Wickenburg didn't have a good night against Mojave, which was kind of surprising. Mojave beat him 27-20. Parker overcame Kingman Academy last night, 34-6, and Lake Havasu beat Lee Williams 49-0. And of course, our Kingman High School Bulldogs went down to defeat to River Valley, as you heard last night on the radio, 59-0. So that kind of moves the schedules around a little bit in the standings here in the league. Parker is now 3-2 on the year. Lake Havasu, the only undefeated team at 5-0. Wickenburg now at 2-3, River Valley 4-1, and on a 3-game winning streak. Kingman 1-4, Mojave 1-4, Kingman Academy 0-5, and Lee Williams 0-5, which sets up next week's game between your Kingman High School Bulldogs and Lee Williams High. That'll be a great game as we invade Lee Williams territory over there and use their press box for 4 quarters of smash-mouth football. Well, last night's game was interesting. I said when Coach Tonjes and his team came in this morning, you can play a really good game of football and still not score, and that's kind of what happened last night. But I think everybody learned something. They had the opportunity to rush through a pretty good defense and a fair offense from what we saw last night. They didn't River Valley bring their best offense to the game last evening. Maybe they didn't have to, but their defense did a really good job, and the Bulldogs shifted both on offense and defense to meet that challenge, and it turned out to be a good night. It was a very pleasant game. The fans loved it. Certainly it was a shutout. I think the biggest score of the year, 59 points for River Valley, but that does not diminish the kind of performance that the Bulldogs had last night. Please welcome Coach Greg Tonjes. Well, Coach, give us a recap of how it went.
Well, we started out where they got 13 points in a minute and 30 seconds, and any time that happens in a football game, it's difficult to regain what you had to start the game in terms of energy and excitement level and focus. So, it started out like that, and they're ranked as high as they are, and they're a state champion from last year, and they're been in the state champion two years in a row for a reason. They're a good football team and have been really since 2010. And so, they came out and did what they do. The thing I was most impressed with them is their defense was very, very good. It was very fast, very physical defense. And, on top of that, you add to the fact that we had 4 offensive starters last night that do not usually start, and we lose, Perez with the almost 500 yards of rushing, and you take that away from the game. It makes it a little bit more difficult. If you can't have a running game, you really can't throw, and that doesn't matter even in this era of spread offenses and throw the ball 50 times. The bottom line, if you don't have any semblance of a running game, it's going to make it more difficult. And they just sat 6 guys back in a zone press type coverage, and we struggled. But overall, the second half we came back and really played physical football, which is what we wanted to do, and it really set us up for this week as we look forward to Lee Williams.
Talk about the adjustment in your offense and defense. I saw a shuffle in the offense last night. You started packing them in a little tighter, both on the line and in the backfield, which seemed to work well for you.
Yeah, it did. I mean, our offensive line did an excellent job last night. Probably the best job, and that's a little surprising because number one, we were very young. We started a sophomore last night on the offensive line, and they really created a nice pocket, probably 60-70% of the time. So that was really encouraging to see, and hopefully that sets us up going forward. And then, the times when we ran, and put 7-8 guys in a box, the bottom line is, their running back, the number one running back in the section, he didn't run well. So, on both sides of the ball, we did that. Again, the biggest challenge for us to overcome last night going into the game, we knew it, was just personnel. We were short on personnel and having to start guys that were young and hadn't received a lot of reps at a lot of positions, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. And we started out defensively with two senior linebackers that did not play the first quarter for team reasons, and so we let them not play the first quarter. So anyway, there's a lot of guys in a lot of different positions, but overall, especially in the second half, we played football the way we want them to.
You scouted this team. You kind of thought you knew what they were going to do when they came in. Did that change the way they ran their game in the first quarter? A
little bit. That's a good question and a good point. They did. They threw the ball. It's funny because in the locker room before, or in the coaches meeting, I think I said something, I don't remember who to, but I said, hey, I have a feeling that, after I read an article or I listened to your pregame show that you guys had sent me.
Well, apparently we gave it away, didn't we?
You did. I appreciate it. I listened.
I just wanted you to know we sent Paul the same show at the same time in case there was any discussion about
exactly.
whether we were trying to get around the end or not. And
right.
Paul got a kick out of it, too, because he was listening to what you said. Well, that didn't tell me anything, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Paul's a good guy. He's a great football coach. He's probably going to move to, wouldn't be surprised to see him go to the college ranks soon. He's been around a long time. But anyway, he said something in the beginning where they're not a passing team and because they haven't had to. And I thought, well, they're probably going to come out and throw the ball more than we would expect. And they did. And, a couple, 2 or 3 scores that they got were passing. And, that's fine. I mean, again, we needed to play well in the second half, in my opinion, after the first half and really play well to set us up mentally, emotionally, and even physically for what we're going to come into this week against Lee Williams.
So is the word Lee Williams is an evenly matched game? You have injuries, they have injuries.
I don't know if I would say an evenly matched game. I don't necessarily look at games from that perspective. I try and focus us on us and not pay much attention to the opponent other than scheme that they run and what they're doing now with the personnel that they have now. So, I try and not think about who they don't have or who they have and really focus our guys on what we need to do scheme-wise, offensively, defense, in all 3 phases of the game. So I'd like to think that it's not going to be close. I'd like to think that, we're going to go in and if we execute, bottom line is if we execute, it won't be close, and we'll beat them, and that's where we're at. That's the next opponent. It's everybody in town is considering a rivalry, and that's fine. It is a rivalry. I'm not looking at that either. I mean, I look at all 10 opponents as a rival, but of course, this is a very special week.
Well, it will be a good week, Coach Tonjes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you to the people that helped make this program and live football broadcasts of Kingman Bulldogs popular, and I would say somewhat listened to on our channel. I hear so many people around town and across the network listening on the internet really enjoy listening to high school football out of Kingman, and we appreciate bringing it to you. And thank you to these people who helped make it happen. The Ramada of Kingman, where we are this morning at the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge, home to the Kingman Bulldog football team and our Saturday morning Coach's Corner program. On the corner of Route 66 and I-40. Also by The Right C by Dr. C, the next generation of vitamin C, providing a natural energy boost and 400% superior absorption, making it the athlete's vitamin C. The Right C is stomach-friendly, pH neutral, and non-acidic, easily available in dissolving powder and caplet form, and you'll find it at Uptown Drug, Del Webb Wellness Center, Anytime Fitness, Desert Sky Fitness, or online at drcvitamins.com. And by Colorado River Ford Lincoln of Kingman and Colorado River Ford in Bullhead City, proudly supporting Kingman High School football. Like the Bulldogs, the Colorado River Ford family of dealerships have a strong, committed, professional, and knowledgeable team ready to help you. Colorado River Ford Lincoln on Stockton Hill Road in Kingman, and Colorado River Ford, Highway 95 in Bullhead City. The officiating staff was good last night, I thought. I did a great job. I announced before the game that if there was any conflict with Coach Tonjes, the warranty on their Ford would be voided. So they walked the line last night. Hey, let's welcome Jeff Heidorf. He's right over here. Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. You've had one of those mornings so far today, haven't you?
Yeah, it started out early.
Yeah, well, it's going to get long. You're doing the rodeo too tonight.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
Good. You shoot boss tonight?
No, I'm just watching.
Well, that's the best kind of watching to have. It'll be a good time. That's the Anna Devine Rodeo performance tonight at 6 o'clock. Used to be an afternoon rodeo, but this year it's at 6 o'clock. Well, let's talk a little bit about that defense. Tell me what you know.
We learned quite a bit last night. We had some young players, like Coach Greg was saying, and we put them in positions they hadn't played before, and some of them shocked me and really did pretty well.
Well, you had to change them out. You had some injuries you're recovering, and not that you're deep, because you're not. And we were talking about this next man up thing, in the backfield. You probably don't have that on defense either, but I thought you guys did a great job.
Yeah, they hung in there. I mean, they're state champs for a reason, and these kids played their hearts out last night and did everything they could. It was hard, it's heartbreaking when you start out 13-0 in the first couple minutes of the game, but the second half, these guys hung in there tough.
Yeah, those first couple of turnovers. One, I believe, was a fumble recovery, and they took it in, and the second was an interception, and that happened in the first 2-3 minutes of the ball game.
Yeah.
So how does your defense react to that?
Well, we just tried to keep their heads up, motivate them, keep them to play intense, and to take the game to the opponent instead of waiting for it to come to them. And that's kind of what happened. They were down a little bit, and instead of being aggressive, they kind of let the run come to them, and it was a little late at that point.
So in the second half, I noticed you made a few adjustments in coordinating your defense. What did you change?
Yeah, we did a lot of changing in the first half, and we went to the 5-3 and the 6-2 and kind of tried to play into their game, which I found out didn't work out too well for us. We need to just stick with our own game because these kids played it tougher with our own natural defense that Bulldogs got.
So was their offensive line more aggressive? Were they double teaming your D?
They were double teaming, triple teaming the outside. They were pretty intense players.
Yeah, I know Coach Oren had a plan for a 6-6. Did that work out for you?
No.
Oh, that'd be too many guys. Okay.
We tried it once. We got a flag.
Well, when you're a little behind the curve, you'd think we'll send in 3 extra guys. Maybe the officiating staff won't notice because they were busy doing other things last night. They were double parked first. That's the first problem. Yeah. So what did you learn from last night's game?
Well, these kids, they played their hearts out. Even when numbers are down, they're in there. They're in there to the end. We love these kids. We're here for them, not just for the football, but for their whole life. We want to be part of them, and hope everything best for them.
Well, it is a family, isn't it, Jeff?
Yes. Yeah. It's a big family.
Coach Heidorf, thank you very much. Jeff Heidorf, the defensive coordinator for the Bulldogs. I want to thank Frontier Communications for supporting our program. Proud to support Kingman High School football. For over 75 years, Frontier has been the name you trust in Kingman for communication solutions for home and business. Find answers to your questions about internet, voice, video, and digital home security at Frontier.com. By Kingman Regional Medical Center, serving our community with compassion and commitment. KRMC is a strong partner in the growth of our area, providing clinical care and patient services in an environment that fosters respect and pride. Learn more about your hospital and its many services at azkrmc.com. By Brent and Tammy Rutherford at Rutherford 66 Family Diner in Kingman, celebrating KHS football and the heyday of the Mother Road. By serving familiar, family-friendly recipes handed down from generation to generation. Brent and Tammy support the youth of our community by hosting many fundraisers at their restaurant. Open at 6 a.m. daily, it's Rutherford 66 Family Diner on the corner of Route 66 and Stockton Hill Road. And thank you to Taco Bell. For more than 20 years, Taco Bell has paved the way for teens to graduate from high school and gain the confidence it takes to reach their full potential. This year, the Taco Bell Foundation is recognizing teens who have pursued their passions with the launch of hashtag #SeeMyPotential, social media site celebrating the successes of teens. Learn more about it at TacoBellFoundation.org. Well, say hi this morning to Coach Nate Sinclair right over here.
That's so pleasant. You said give me the quarterback's last
Good morning, young man. How's it going?
I'm not happy now. You didn't change my last name.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm joking. I'm good, though. I'm good. That was a good move right there.
anybody catching up to you, but got to know where it is.
There we go.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that defensive line last night. Coach Heidorf sort of told us about the setup, and what about what happened down in the trenches? Where did you find out you needed to make a change? When was that, and what'd you do?
Well, basically, I mean, when we added guys in, to run a 5-3, we just made sure they understood how to go smash, the offensive line and the guys behind them, right where they needed to. We wanted to make the quarterback panic, and I think we accomplished that a bit. I think we made him nervous,
Well, things happened on that line that Economo, I think, probably hadn't seen before and maybe wasn't expecting. Was that your plan?
Well, I mean, it's football. I mean, everything is expected. It's a war. I expect, the opposing force to come out with whatever they got. They may try some different stuff. They may try some pulling people or double teaming guys, stuff like that. But we got to be ready for it and, give it right back to them. So,
were you surprised they passed that much early?
No. We faced them a bit. In the spring and summer, I guess it was the summer and the 7-on-7s, and we got a chance to get a taste of what they could do passing-wise, but there was no line involved there. So, we were able to cover there and make them nervous there. We figured when we put a line in front of them, we could do the same thing. So I expected them to come out and throw the ball, and they did that.
Well, early on, their big tailback there, Galvin, got his bell rung, got a bit of a concussion, and took him out. So they were shuffling running backs. Did that change the way you approached that?
Not at all. The focus was simply, get in there and make somebody decide not to play anymore. That's just what we do. We come in and we lay the hammer down. That's what we want to do every game. We don't get that accomplished every game, but we did so in the second half of last night's game, and I felt pretty good about what my guys went out there and did.
Well, you certainly adjusted well, and we've had this discussion in the first few games of the year. You kind of run out of gas there in the late third quarter, fourth quarter, but last night you held in all night long.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that was the whole point. We kept them motivated. They were motivated from the beginning of the game, just knowing, that, like Coach said, I don't really do the rivalry thing either, but we understood what they came to do. They came to prove a point.
Yeah.
And we wanted to prove the same point to them, that we just weren't going to back down from them, So, these guys were fired up, motivated to go, play heads-up football the whole night, and they went out and did that.
Well, I agree, and I said in the early going and before the show started this morning that you can play a great game of football and still not score, and last night was a great game of football.
Very true, very true. I mean, it's a battle. I mean, nobody really counts the losses of lives in an actual real war. They count what strategies, the offensive guys and the defensive guys come out against each other on. And that's exactly what we did last night. Was the score we couldn't determine, but we could determine what we did on the field. That's what we could determine what effort we were going to give. and my guys went out and did that. So I'm very proud of them.
Well, and I agree. Coach Nate, thank you very much for being on the show this morning.
Anytime, bro.
It'll be a great week this week. The new T-Mobile Simply prepaid store is a part of our program, and they're the new Safeway Plaza, North Stockton Hill Road. T-Mobile offers iPhones and Galaxy devices with single or family plans for downloading, surfing, streaming video, music, online gaming, and reliable text messaging. The new T-Mobile Simply prepaid store in the Safeway Plaza on North Stockton Hill Road. Thank you to Datamax Wireless, your local reliable source in Mojave County, for 4G wireless internet and voice services for home and business. The Datamax WeCom family celebrates Kingman High School sports through their commitment to delivering the high-quality communication service that makes it possible for you to hear the high school football broadcasts live every Friday night on 90.7 KJZK. Thanks to John Waters and his team at Datamax Kingman. Thank you also to Nucor Steel, celebrating Kingman High School sports and our community by sharing its sustainable success as a company. Nucor cares about the things that matter most: workplace safety, the health and protection of our environment, and outreach to the places we work and call home. Nucor Steel, a strong partner in the success of our youth. Well, here's another strong partner in the success of our youth. Please welcome offensive line coach Orrin Lancaster right here.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Good. Well, you had them all whipped up last night, and I think you came out and met the challenge. A little deflated after the first few scores. Sometimes those things happen. You just got to kind of catch up. Talk about the early offense. What did you think you were going to see from their defense, and how did you plan against that?
Well, as either 5 men coming or 8. We knew that they're going to bring a front line. It just depends on what we were doing everywhere else. But O-line I just made it simple. Nobody gets through. Nobody comes, and if they do get through, you get the next guy. It's more than anywhere else. The O-line has to work in tangent or together. Everywhere else, if people can do their specialty things, they can do it. They can do it well. But on O-line, if you did your job but nobody else did, the entire O-line fails. So you will, they learned how to work together last night. Of course, nobody's perfect, but when the linebackers came, if there was 5 men on the line, it was 5 on 5, and we were going to hold our 5.
Well, I think they did a good job early on and held out through the whole game. The blocking was set up well. I think the scheme worked well. They overwhelmed you a little bit when everybody came, and that was a big blitz. And those guys, that defense, they were very fast.
Yeah. If they bring more than 5, because all I can promise is I could take 5 on 5. And what I told my offensive linemen is we will not be tired. And I conditioned them. That was harder on them than I ever have been. You will know your responsibility, and you will not quit. And that's what they all did on the offensive line. So if they brought more, we would do our best. But at the same, it's a team, and once they start bringing that much, the quarterback has to have his eyes up. And they worked well together. I'm really proud of them and their tenacity. I didn't have to worry about them pretty much all night long. I had little adjustments, but they took one away and they put him to the H. And even then, when another kid stepped up, he's just tell me what I need to do, and they still worked together. We had to make some adjustments. As a coach, you have to look at what they're doing and coach them up. But they were ready to go. They just wanted to prove something that, last year we were getting our butt kicks at offensive line, but that's last year.
Well, that didn't happen last night. They held their own all night long. And I saw you made a few changes there in the second half, kind of scrunching up, changing your package, moving everybody together. That seemed to work well for you.
Yeah, well, in the beginning we had a game plan, and as the game plan starts to change, we had to change what they were going to do. The offensive line sets the pace for the rest of the offense. So at that time, we were like, all right, so what do you need from us, and we'll do it. They're givers, man. All the kids are. They care about each other, and they came out to fight together. In the second half, we just had to remind them that, what, this is a team sport, and you will fight together, and you guys will either win together, you'll lose together, but either way, you're together.
You'll be together.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the family business you're in here, coaching those kids, and they didn't let you down last night. No. A lot of other teams, when you're down 40-something to nothing, would have said, well, let's pack it up and go have lunch. But that's not what happened. So you can play a good game and still not score.
Yeah. Well, that's what I told them. I was like, you guys are going to go out there together and win, or you're going to go out there and fall apart. But either way, you're together. If, by chance, you do not want to play anymore, just let me know, and I'll find somebody who does. Because there's always somebody, even though we're shallow, who will step up and do it. But all of them stepped up and were like, we'll do it. Let's go out there and let's just prove a point.
And what'd you learn from last night?
It wasn't so much of a learning experience for me as it was just resealing what I already know about these kids. Is that they're fighters, whether they're down, they're up. They just like to fight. They truly, the Kingman is the underdog. We have been for a long time, but they just, I just learned the biggest thing, I guess, was that I care about them and I know they care about each other, and that's why I coach.
Coach Orrin Lancaster, thank you very much for being on the show. Orrin is the offensive line coach, special teams coach, conditioning coach. He parks cars, does some valet, also drives the kids and the coaches home late at night. He was serving pizza last night downtown at Pizza Hut when we were all done. And this morning he was up playing games with his kids all night last night. Apparently a revelation that he just learned here at the show this morning. So, hard-working guy, that's for sure. Speaking of Pizza Hut, thank you to Pizza Hut. Like the Bulldog football team in Kingman High School, Pizza Hut celebrates a heritage of success. For 55 years, Pizza Hut has been a partner in the communities it serves, supporting youth sports programs. This year, Pizza Hut joins a national initiative aimed at giving 100,000 young people a meaningful job. Like sports, at Pizza Hut, the most important ingredient is our people. Thank you to Frontier Communications, taking this time to thank our veterans, active military, and their families for their service to our country. Frontier recognizes those who have made the ultimate sacrifice and salutes our veterans. Thank you also to Desert Mountain Security in Kingman, providing security services for residential, commercial, small business, and special events. Desert Mountain Security offers services in Arizona and Nevada with a force of professionally trained, uniformed, state-licensed security professionals. More online at desertmountainsecurity.com. Well, here is the player of the game with Coach Tonjes. Please say hello to Garrett Stevens right here.
Good morning.
Well, pretty big game last night, young man. You spent a good share of your evening on the deck.
Yeah.
On top of the opposing team. Coach, what about that?
Well, he does it week in and week out. I mean, I think he had 6 or 8 tackles last night and 4 assisted tackles, and he continues to do that. He's got over 40 tackles on the season, so he's on pace right now. Yeah, probably closer to 50. So he's on pace to have over 100 tackles in a year, and he just does what he is supposed to do. And then we used him in our kick return, and he almost broke one for a touchdown. He let the kicker tackle him, which is, he'll hear about that.
He was the last gasp, too.
That little kicker's fast, though, so we'll give that to him, but so is Garrett. But Garrett just does a good job. Every day in practice, I mean, we actually have to hold him back sometimes at the safety because, he'll come up and just lay the wood on you, and that's what we expect from him every week. Again, we don't have to go to him and say, hey, we need you to do this, Garrett. He just goes out and does his job. You never hear from him, and I can't wait to see what he does against Lee Williams this week, too.
Garrett, talk about your effort there, young man.
Well, our whole team puts in 100% effort on our defense. There's a lot of other good players, too. Mason Wester, he goes hard every time. He goes flying in there. Damon Hydorf, he's a good player as well. And Trent Shook stepped up yesterday as well and went 100%. He made a lot of tackles.
Well, you guys had a valiant effort last night. Are you thinking about college ball somewhere?
No, I'm not thinking about college right now, actually.
Just try to get through this program.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, high school is hard enough. There's a future for you, I'm sure, and you've done a great job. And you go both ways. You had a real good effort on offense last night, too. Talk a little bit about that on kick returns.
Well, kick return was fun yesterday. It was my first time returning in the backfield, and I enjoyed it. So hopefully I get to do that next week as well.
You can run fast. And when you hit somebody, it makes noise.
Yeah.
That's it. That popping pad's a good deal, right?
Yeah.
Garrett Stevens, thank you very much, Garrett, for being on the show. I want to say thank you to Uptown Drug and Home Medical Supply, Paul Lewis and the whole team over there with 3 locations in Kingman and Golden Valley. For over 30 years, Uptown Drug has been a strong partner in the success of our community, working hard with healthcare professionals to help residents enjoy a better, healthier life. From Band-Aids to home health aids, trust Uptown Drug online at uptowndrug.med. American Woodmark Corporation, also an underwriter of our program, manufacturer of quality kitchen and bath cabinets for the home. American Woodmark embodies the marriage of technology, automation, and American craftsmanship. Like Kingman High School football, American Woodmark maintains a culture of excellence, delivering a quality product with passion, while creating opportunities for inspiration, growth, and achievement. American Woodmark Corporation, supporting our team and our community. And thank you to John Graves Propane. For over 60 years, the Graves family has been in the propane business, providing service to homes, ranches, and businesses in Mojave, Coconino, and Yavapai counties. Locally, customers have come to rely on John Graves Golden Valley for a safe and dependable propane product for cooking, heating, and hot water. Just common folks giving uncommon service. That's John Graves Propane at 565-2821. Well, Coach, closing thoughts.
Well, I mean, it can't get any more exciting for this week with playing Lee Williams, and I hope all the fans and everybody around that's in town. We have a big deal at our school on Friday afternoon where they're doing a really big, I guess, pep rally and tailgate party. So we want to invite everybody out for that on Friday afternoon. And then there's a police escort that's going to bring all the fans over to invade Lee Williams. And we're fired up. I told the kids last night, hey, if you can't get fired up for a week like this against an inner city rivalry, then this sport's probably not for you. But we'll have them ready to bite through metal by the time we get to kickoff on Friday night for sure.
Well, like Kingman High, it's a beautiful place to play, and I'm sure you'll be received warmly by the Lee Williams fans and team. You know, everybody loves
Do you
everybody.
think they're going to give us hugs and all
Oh,
that?
absolutely. Yeah, they'll be lined up at the gate, man. That's the
I'll
way it
bet they
is over
will.
there, brother.
I'll bet.
I was talking to their AD, Charlie, yesterday, and he's waiting for you guys in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Well, you won't be able to park in the parking lot. You're going to have to walk over, but, you know, that's kind of the way it is. So next week, it's the Kingman High School Bulldogs at the Lee Williams Volunteers, and that is going to be a great game. You know, I guess we'll call it a rivalry. I don't know. I just think it's going to be two really good local teams playing really good football around some really good people.
No doubt, no doubt. We're excited. We can't wait. Wish it was tomorrow.
Well, thank you very much for being a part of what we do here on Kingman High School live football broadcasts and our Coach's Corner program at the Canyon 66 Restaurant and Lounge every Saturday morning at the Ramada Kingman. Thank you to Ramada of Kingman, The Right C by Dr. C, Colorado River Ford Lincoln, Frontier Communications, Kingman Regional Medical Center, Trent and Tammy Rutherford at Rutherford 66 Family Diner, Taco Bell, T-Mobile of Kingman, Datamax Wireless, Nucor Steel, Pizza Hut, Desert Mountain Security, Uptown Drug and Home Medical Supply, American Woodmark Corporation, and John Graves Propane. We'll see you next week on the Coach's Corner. Have a great day, everybody.